Well, I guess it's time for us to have a little chat and a little discussion about what's going to happen with Ezra Miller and The Flash. Hello, everyone. Welcome to Louder Pop Culture Podcast. I'm your host, Tommy A. West. Joining me, as always, is my co-host, Alanis Maximus.
Greetings.
And here we are today to talk a little bit about what is going on with Ezra Miller and the future of the Flash movie. Now, Alanis, I know you've been keeping up to date with this a little bit more than I have, over the past few months. I've only kind of started really looking into it as of headlines coming out today and things like that, and hearing WB's plans, three sort of ideas that they have for what this movie could end up, being or doing or whatever. So, as far as you know, what is your opinion of what's going to happen with The Flash and what's going on with Ezra Miller right now?
I think they need to pull it because the dude is a screw loose, and I don't think he deserves any kind of time in the spotlight.
I agree, but there's some things we have to think about with this, which is, A, how much money Warner Brothers has invested into this. B, how big a scope this movie is, having Michael Keaton come back as Batman and all these huge, things that everyone wants, that want this movie to be good and we're looking forward to this movie. It's bigger than him, this movie, and that's the problem that we're facing, and I think Warner Brothers is facing, that they just have been thrown into a corner and they just don't know how to tackle this because they can't reshoot it. He's basically in every scene. He plays multiple characters across the movie. So basically this is a $250 million movie that's been shot with that budget, that's going to have to double that budget, making it $550, $600 million by the end of what's said and done. And that's just too big of a budget for a film to make any money. So whether they cancel it, whether they, bring it out and try to keep him out of the sort of promotion for it and doing the press runs and interviews for it, I don't know. But, I mean, what do you think the best outcome is? Because I'm feeling like that with how this story keeps unfolding, there's just no way this movie's coming out in this the way it is right now. So, what are your thoughts?
I'm slightly worried that it came to this as well. There's been massive alarm bells ringing for at least 6 months about this dude, and he's just kept going and kept going and kept going. And I think there was a time for action before something I hope with what's going on right now with the missing people that it's nothing too seedy, because if it is, then I think a lot of things need to be reflected upon because it shouldn't have come to that.
It is. It's baffling, man, because I don't know if they're missing because he's done something to them, or if they're missing because they're being pressured into staying silent, staying where they're held captive. I don't know what the intentions are behind it, but when I read that headline today that now the Child Investigation Services in Vermont are involved and people are worried for this mother and children's welfare and stuff, I was I kind of got a sick feeling in the pit of my stomach, and I don't know whether that's just because we're assuming the worst. Usually when you hear someone's gone missing with their children, it's usually not a good sign. Most of them, hopefully most of them are found, but a lot of them don't ever get found. So, I mean, what are you thinking this is? What is it? What's going on? Is this people that want to be around him that don't feel like they're captive? Is this people that are held captive against their will, or is this something more seedy? What do you think?
In some of the things I read, it seems like seedy cult vibes as well, which is also disturbing. Like, it
That's
never
the,
goes down a
that's what
good
I'm
road.
trying to get at. Is like, is this person and children like, is that, do they want to be there? Do they look at him as like their like cult leader sort of thing? Like, are they? It's kind of like all cults. Like, there are people that are willing participants in being there that people don't know that they've gone missing. They don't know where they are, but you know what I mean? Like, this has happened in the past. So like with people being willing participants, with him being so famous and wealthy, with him having sort of like a leader status above these people, like, do you feel like this is them, wanting to be there, or do you think that they're being held against their will? Because I feel like I just don't know if he'd hold them against their will and get full on charge for kidnapping and like this. That just seems so far. But again, Ezra Miller has proven us that he can go as far as you can imagine. So, I mean, I don't know.
It's a hard one. I hope it's nothing like that. I think the whole cult thing is also seedy as all outdoors, but that's probably the better situation.
It definitely is. If they're willing participants, then look, man, that's their choice. That's the mother's choice. Look, it may not be the right thing by the kids, and apparently there is now a thing going around from the child welfare services that they are trying to get the children out of the custody of the mother because she is not fit to look after the children, apparently. So apparently we're going to see if she is, wanting to be there, because just because she wants to be there, I don't think child services are going to appreciate that if they don't feel like it's a safe environment. So um, I don't know. This is really baffling, weird, strange, unprecedented news, man. Like, this has never kind of occurred before, and I don't know what Warner Brothers are going to do about this, because 250, $300 million budget on a movie that's pretty much done, ready to go. That's a big loss if they have to can this movie. We've already seen we've already seen them can Batgirl. Um, is that right? Is it Batgirl or
You got Batgirl, Supergirl, and there's a project of Michael B. Jordan, Black Superman, that they've pulled the plug on before it took off as well. But yeah,
I mean,
I think that particular one wasn't too bad because B. Jordan. I've not been crash hot on any of his roles in superhero movies, which is an unpopular opinion, but my heart's not broken over that.
yeah. Well, I mean, you're obviously a bigger superhero fan than I am. I feel like you're still not quite as like DC as like even I am. Whereas like I'm not a super huge comic book fan, but like I'll die on a hill to like defend DC comics. I still think Batman is the best superhero comic book property, but that's just, again, it's an opinion. It's my thoughts. So like, what is the most disappointing thing about this to you? Were you looking super forward to the Flash movie? I mean, were you looking forward to? As far as I'm concerned, I think the Flash was meant to be sort of like the beginning of a reboot of the DCEU. Is that correct?
It's hard to say because literally every 5 to 10 years they say we have a 10-year plan for the DCEU, and they're still like, you've got Shazam, you've got Aquaman 2, you've got Black Adam, all these movies that are still the kind of mainline as we know at DCEU. And Aquaman actually confirmed having Ben Affleck Batman in it still as well.
I heard that Michael Keaton was supposed to be Batman in that movie as well, but because the Flash got delayed and Aquaman 2 got pushed to be coming out before the Flash, they didn't want to give up the reveal of Michael Keaton in the Flash, so they got Ben Affleck to become Batman in Aquaman 2 again. I think that's
He
right.
was also going to be in Batgirl. There's shots from on set of Keaton Batman, and Batgirl.
Well, I think what we'll do is quickly go over the multiple choices that Warner Brothers actually have following all this stuff that's been going on. So, like, basically, according to the Hollywood Reporter, Warner Brothers is reportedly considering 3 different scenarios. The first involves releasing the film with limited press. Apparently, Warner's only stipulation in this case is that Miller seeks professional help after returning to their family home. Eventually, Miller would have to give an interview explaining their behavior. Miller would then do a limited amount of press following the film's release. The second option is that the film is still released, even if Miller doesn't seek help. They would not participate in marketing or press for the film. That's an unusual move for a film star, but given the circumstance, it would make sense. Following the film's release, Miller would not be able to play the Flash in any future projects. And the third solution would be to scrap the movie completely. Miller plays multiple characters in almost every scene, making it practically impossible to save, even through recasting and reshoots. This is apparently very much a worst case scenario reserved for if Miller's situation continues to deteriorate. It would be a shocking blow if this scenario occurred, considering the film's cost of over $200 million. So that's your 3 options there. To me, it sounds like 2 options, really, because option 1 and option 2 sort of are the same thing.
Yeah.
And I feel like that if they're going to release it, even if he kind of picks up his game and doesn't fuck up from now on, I still think you need to distance yourself even a year out from now and probably just release the film, have him not a part of it, not playing the Flash in future iterations of this film franchise, the DC world, whatever, universe. I think it's look, I'm gonna just say I'm putting money on this movie not coming out.
Yeah, I think it's unfolding and unpacking in a way that it seems like that's the inevitability, I think.
I mean, things just around DC at the moment, they're just nothing's going right for them. I mean, apparently I've heard that like there's a lot of uproar about Amber Heard being kicked from Aquaman 2. I've actually heard that there's people trying to boycott the movie and shit like that. I mean, that's bad press for Aquaman 2. Then you got The Flash having its issues. And I believe there's one other movie as well that is lined up that's having issues as well, but I can't remember right now. I was talking about it with a friend before from film school. Hold on, I'm trying to find what he said, which was the movies he was talking about. He said, so he said, Aquaman 2 is probably going to be boycotted because of Amber Heard. Batgirl's been cancelled. There you go. That's the one I was thinking of. And now they're stuck without Batman, Superman, or Flash. So, yeah, it's baffling to me that they've asked Ben Affleck to come back as Batman when that was pretty much done and dusted. They've ditched Henry Cavill. They've got these problems with The Flash. Wonder Woman 2, like 1987 or whatever it was called, was a dumpster truck. I mean, what do you think is going to happen? What do you think the future for Aquaman 2 looks and Black Adam and all these DC movies? Because right now their slate that just basically got shown and released is already looking a lot thinner and bare compared to what it started off as.
I think Black Adam has a lot of buzz around it. I think it's going to do reasonably well. And Shazam, I think both of those are going to be fairly strong movies. Like the first Shazam movie was a breath of fresh air, I think, for the DCE because they were all darkly dark, and this was a very lighthearted thing. So I think they both are going to kind of carry the torch in the absence of the Flash and everything that's going on there. Yeah. Aquaman 2, even with the Amber Heard cut, I don't think anyone cares because everyone's about Jason Momoa and Aquaman. So I think that's gonna pay itself off in the long run as well, I think.
I'm trying to find so we can bring it up and have a deep dive into that poster of what DC's phase was looking like. I'm trying to bring it up so we can actually bring it up and have a chat and work out what we think the fuck is going to happen with all these movies. So, starting July 28th, we had Harley Quinn, which has started. We premiered. The Sandman has actually Is it the whole thing up? It's up now, yeah.
Yeah, yeah. I keep forgetting
Um,
about that as well, but I'll watch
Black,
it one day.
Black Adam in October, fall 2022. We're getting Pennyworth season 3. Got July 29th, League of Super Pets. Then we got. Sorry, one sec. Then we got Stargirl season 3, August 31st. Like, dude, I didn't even know half these shows. Like, I didn't even know there was Stargirl season 1 and 2.
Yeah.
I know about Titans, obviously. Shazam, we're getting a new Shazam this year, which I didn't know. Aquaman, Blue Beetle, August 18th. That's next year. That's pretty far away. Superman and Lois season 3. Sweet Tooth season 2. Like, dude, what's Sweet Tooth?
I have no idea.
Peacemaker season 2.
Ooh.
The Flash, June 23rd, 2023. My Adventures with Superman, HBO Max original series, apparently, early 2023. Doom Patrol, early 2023. The Flash season 9, mid 2023. Fall 2023, we're getting Batgirl, which isn't happening anymore.
And
Right?
that's the actual last Flash season as well. The end of the Arrowverse.
And then I'm going to have to take away our bottom news bit so we can read the rest. 1 second. So we got Joker, Batman Cape Crusader, Wonder Woman 3, The Batman 2, Static Shock, Untitled James Gunn Project, which is weird, Justice League Dark, Constantine, Arkham, Black Canary, Green Lantern, Zatanna, the DC Syndicate, The Penguin, Untitled Amanda Waller series. So, like, let's do a quick cross of what we think is not going to happen anymore and what we think is going to happen. We know Batgirl's not going to happen.
Even Batman 2 is not confirmed yet. They've not committed to a date for that.
Actually, I know we'll be doing a story about that shortly. I think we'll break that one up, but we'll probably go straight into it after this anyway. Keep the conversation going. So, what are your thoughts on Blue Beetle? Have you heard much about Blue Beetle? Do you think this is going to happen?
I've pretty much just heard what we're looking at now. And the way it's going, I can't help but think, is it going to happen? Like, a lot of these, I wouldn't be surprised if they start to drop off as well with the way things are going, because it's multiple pins seem to be being pulled.
Definitely. What about what is this Batman Cape Crusader? Is this, to me, that looks like the animated television series.
Yeah, it looks a lot like the
logo, the font. Oh, are you gone?
No, I'm here.
Oh, weird. You dropped out for a second. So yeah, like Batman Cape Crusader, that looks like the animated series font, yeah?
Yeah.
And then we got Arkham, which we've heard about a little bit. I mean, again, nobody wants an Amanda Waller TV series. I don't know if that's just me saying that. Do you feel the same?
I have no interest in that.
And what is your thoughts on, like, I know this is definitely happening. We should probably talk about it anyway. It's some news, I guess, we haven't really touched on. What are your thoughts on Joker 2 and the fact that Lady Gaga is going to be Harley Quinn?
The whole musical thing is weird. Like, I had a lot of love for that movie. I don't know. I hope it is good, but it seems strange. Like,
do you know much about Doom Patrol?
Doom Patrol is good. I need to finish season 2. I just kind of, for no reason, just stopped watching. But that is a great show. It's strange. First season, I swear by. It's Alan Tudyk plays the villain, and he's just phenomenal as he is in anything. But yeah, Doom Patrol is very different. It's not your typical kind of superhero thing. So if you like things that are slightly obscure, it would be right up your alley.
And I'm just looking at this list, man. Like, I'm going to say that, like, I think Peacemaker's still going to go strong. Peacemaker's done well and proved its footing. I'm not sure about all these HBO Max original shows now with what's happening with HBO Max, because I'm sure this slate was released before the HBO Max news that's dropped recently, which we were going to discuss in this episode too, which is I'm pretty sure they just got like wrapped into Warner Brothers Discovery, meaning like HBO Max is kind of done. Have you heard much about this?
I've not. The first I heard was what you were mentioning today.
Okay, so I'm going to read it. Okay, maybe not. We're still getting HBO Max. So cutting costs, merging, and shelving. So here we go. CEO announces company will fully embrace theatrical releases and move from straight to streaming productions. The drama has been coming thick and fast at the AT&T owned entertainment behemoth Warner Brothers Discovery. Unfortunately for the company and its viewers, the action is all taking place in its boardrooms. The company was formed after the spin-off of Warner Media by AT&T and its merger with Discovery in April last year. First, the studio announced plans to permanently shelve already shot Batgirl movie to the tune of an estimated $90 million loss. A puzzling move explained in an official statement as symptomatic of a larger shift in company doctrine away from streaming through more obscure. Basically, they're going to use it as a tax write-off. Batgirl. HBO Max subscribers then began combing the library and noticed that a handful of original films produced for the platform had been quietly removed. The Seth Rogen vehicle, American Pickle for One, now exists only as a $3.99 rental from iTunes. Rumors of staff layoffs and series cancellations swirled until the bomb was finally dropped by Warner Discovery CEO David Zaslav during a second quarter earnings report last Thursday. In 2023, HBO Max and Discovery Plus would be combined into a single entity, ideally with a name that doesn't sound like a brand of batteries. So HBO Max's brand is going to be demolished and it's going to start over. So basically, that's what we're looking at is there's a lot of problems going on at HBO Max right now. And that's why I'm wondering what is the future for a lot of these projects going forward. With that, maybe we'll get into our discussion that we were going to have as well, which is what is our thoughts on the future of these streaming sites? What do you feel is going to happen? Because I'm a little worried for how many people are going down this subscription route model sort of thing. And I feel like this is going to eat itself alive one day. I feel like it's going to there's too much. It's saturating itself. I feel like there's too much competition. Everyone's trying to get on the bandwagon. And I think it's all going to implode on itself and make it that nobody wins at the end of the day. I mean, what are your thoughts?
I think it's come too far to really go back, in the sense of we're never going to see video stores again. I think some like Disney, Amazon, I think they're always going to be around. Amazon's already kind of swallowing the smaller guys. Like you've got Shudder. What's another one? Paramount Plus. They're all kind of under the blanket of Amazon now. Like you can subscribe through them. I think it's eventually going to become something like that. I think we're going to see Netflix. I don't know if that's going to be around forever. It's really fallen from grace, I think. And I think they're struggling.
I think they're doing quite well in still like a lot of countries. Like I've heard it's very popular in places like India. Like everyone's got a Netflix account. But I've heard in America that they're kind of like fucked. You know what I mean? Like they're not doing too well. Like that's why all their shows are canceling. They're kind of, everything's ending. Like all the original shows that Netflix are known for, like they're kind of going away. Like Narcos is finished, Ozark's finished. I don't know how. Like, the only thing that people talk about from Netflix really anymore is like Squid Game
and Stranger Things. But
exactly.
I think even that in itself, it's only doing 5 seasons. I don't know if there's going to be a 6th. I also don't care because I'm not into it. But
honestly, yeah, I think there will be a clear winner at the end of this race. But like we're looking at things like Disney Plus and Hulu getting price hikes, and you wouldn't do price hikes if things were all good. If money was being made, if you were happy with the flow of money. because you don't want to gouge your customers too much with the prices, because you still want the customer to feel like buying a Disney Plus membership for streaming every month is worth the money. And the more you make it expensive, the less the customer feels like it's worth that money. And that's what I mean is, like, if they had so many subscribers paying whatever they're paying at the moment now, and they felt like that was enough, they wouldn't be even thinking about a price hike. But they have to kind of do that, because I feel like they haven't said it, but when I see the headline Disney Plus prices going up, to me that reads, we're not satisfied with the money that's coming in. It's not enough to satiate the demand for our Disney Plus shows that we've released and started. We need more money for the budget of these shows to make it work. We're just not making enough money off this. That's how I read it, is that they're like, this isn't, the subscriptions we thought were going to be enough isn't enough, and we need more money. And this is our way of getting more money without having to do too much more to what's already going on, except put the price up. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
What do you think about that?
I think so to a degree, but I also think I think it's accepting of that as well, because of the level of quality that they're putting out is AAA. It's cinematic quality production. So I mean, paying a little more, I'm kind of I don't have a problem with that. Yeah, I think I prefer that as well to the Amazon approach, where you've got Amazon, but then you've also got the little subsidiaries in there as well, which you pay an extra amount for again as well.
I don't know if you noticed this, though, that Disney Plus has started doing that.
They do have stuff, but they've had that for a while. They did have a price hike with that.
I actually am happy that I got that, because we had to get that for Prey to watch that. So I signed up for the 7-day trial for Prey, and I've kind of kept it going because I'm stoked on like some of the series that they've got up, like in high definition and stuff. Like I'm rewatching Malcolm in the Middle and stuff at the moment, which is on Stars. So I mean, I do think that Disney Plus is one of the leaders in this game, and I think that they're going to come out just fine probably at the end of this, considering they've got so much property, Star Wars, like Marvel, like everything's owned by Disney now. But then I think also Amazon Prime have a good thing going with it. I don't think they're going to go anywhere soon, because Prime is just sort of a place you go to get digital rentals that you pay for anyway. Also, they've got free stuff included with your Amazon Prime account, and you've also got all the like smaller streaming things that they've kind of gotten up, like as you said, like Shudder. They've got Paramount Plus under their banner. Like, so no matter what you're signing up for, there you're signing up for also the streaming of Prime and all these like subsidiary channels or whatever. But they've also got that revenue coming in of like people renting things, which I found myself, even being someone who does use torrents quite a lot, renting things, because it's just like, I can do it. It's like the click of a button. It's $2.99 or whatever. You know what I mean? So I feel like Prime and Disney are going to be okay, but I feel like Netflix are going to struggle depending on territory. And I also think that things like Hulu will just end up being eaten up by Disney Plus and be under the bracket of Disney Plus. And I'm trying to think, like Stan in Australia, I don't think that is going to last forever. I think Stan is crap and really probably one of the lowest tiers of streaming. I feel like it's very Australian heavy. So like it's all like Australian dramas, Australian comedies, Australian movies, and don't give a fuck. You know what I mean? So, I mean, who do you think are going to come out as the winners in this, and who do you think are the main losers in this?
I think Amazon and Disney are going to be at the top. I don't know who would win out of those two. I think it's going to be a kind of a Pepsi Coca-Cola kind of thing.
New Coke.
Yeah, they're just going to be these two monsters.
The new Coke. So so look, I just think that Netflix need to step their game up, because Netflix were known for like being the streaming service, like Netflix and chill, like It's coming to Netflix. Of course it's coming to Netflix. Oh, I've got a Netflix special coming out. Oh, Netflix. And now I feel like that's becoming less and less as time goes on. Like, I, okay, I used Netflix for the first time last week, crossing over whatever, the last 2 weeks, for the first time in months. And that was to watch the Woodstock 99 documentary that just came out called Trainwreck. By the way, really fucking good documentary. There was one that came out last year, I believe. We actually reviewed it on Loud, an alternative music podcast with Ben Rogers from the band The Last Martyr. We talked about it. I think it was on Amazon or something. I'm not sure though. And this one was a lot better than the Amazon one or whatever that was on because it didn't place the blame on the acts. It didn't, it told the story for what it was, which was an unorganized event. But anyway, getting back to what I'm saying, I've used Netflix for the first time doing that documentary. And that was because I checked Netflix every 2 months and being like, what's up now? Oh, cool. Because if you're someone that goes on it every single fucking day, your choice is so limited because you're just on it every day. You know what's up. Like, I think it's good checking it once every couple of months because then you're like, oh, this is up. Oh, this is up. I didn't even know they put this up. But if that's your main go-to streaming service, that would be rough, man. I'd probably end up just like watching a blank screen for half the time,
Yeah. I find a lot of my time with Netflix, if I'm specifically on Netflix, is me scrolling going,
100%. That's exactly what I do. I spend more time flicking through all of the things and categories and going through all the fucking thumbnails. Oh, and by the way, Netflix, please stop autoplay, man. Like, stop it. Like, if I hover over a fucking video for 2 seconds, you can't just fucking start playing a trailer for it or whatever, man. Like, it fucking pisses me off. At least give me the option to turn off autoplay. Like, does that fucking drive you nuts too?
Yep.
And I'm pretty sure they would know that that's a thing that customers fucking hate. And I'm pretty sure they're just like, oh, this is how you get viewers in. Like, fuck. So yeah, I don't know, man. I'm just concerned about everyone going this subscription model route because, as I said to you, with Xbox Game Pass, which is taking a leaf out of what people are doing with streaming services like Netflix and things like that. That's where they got their sort of like building blocks for this Game Pass idea from. I feel like Xbox, now that they've done Game Pass, can never take that back. They've gone, here's Game Pass, these games are coming day and date, and if that subscription service doesn't pan out and cover the costs like they originally thought, there is not really a way of going back, putting the genie back in the bottle, as you'd say. You know what I mean? Like, people are just going to be like, what? What do you mean, like, Halo whatever is not coming day and date? You change your mind. Like, what? I pay for Game Pass because you said this is what's going to happen. Like, there's too much. Like, there's just too much fucking over your customers by doing that now. So Xbox have kind of painted themselves into a corner where they just have to keep going with this Game Pass thing forever. And I'm wondering if that's happening to every streaming service as well, where they're suddenly realizing that the subscription prices and stuff aren't covering the costs. That's what I'm wondering. I don't know. What are your thoughts on like the game sector, like Xbox Game Pass doing this, and what do you think is going to be their future? Do you think they're going to be okay, or do you think that's going to be something that could be a problem in the future?
I think they should manage to stay afloat. It's a bit of a revolving door. So not everything that's on there stays on there. So I think, as you said, they can't go back, but I don't think it will. I don't think they'll. I don't think that it'll come to a point where they'll need to.
Definitely. Well, I think that the thing we have to think about with PlayStation as well, doing their subscription service, is I feel like theirs is a lot more thought out than Game Pass, where like Sony aren't offering you their first party games day and date, like their main, first, think about like a new Uncharted or Spider-Man 2 when it drops, or God of War Ragnarok when it comes out this year. They're not coming to PlayStation Plus immediately, even for top tier members when there's 3 tiers, like you're still going to have to buy that game brand new. the only thing it offers you is things like game trials and things like that of the games that are out. So like right now I've got the game trial for Horizon Forbidden West. I'm a big PlayStation guy. I really want to play that fucking game. And I've barely touched the game trial on it because I'm waiting for the game to be at a price where I can afford it. So the game trial, I don't have to just play the trial and then get to 5 hours and be like, well, can't play anymore. You know what I mean? So Sony have kind of done it smart where if I want to play for Horizon Forbidden West, yeah, I can have a go and see if it is my sort of thing. But if I want to play the full game, well, I still have to pay for it. But you've still got bonuses coming in that keep you wanting that subscription service where I feel like Xbox saying, look, we're going to put out first-party games, day and date releases or whatever, even third-party games, every one is a bit of a mistake because you don't need to go to that extreme, I feel, if you've got some good things to offer for your subscription service anyways. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I think PlayStation have done it kind of smart where they're like, listen, we make too much revenue off selling games at $110 a pop in Australia or whatever. So guess what? We're still going to sell those games for $110, but we're going to still offer people a subscription service, which is going to net us more money as well. You know what I mean? So I think they found a kind of happy medium where they're not going to jeopardize whatever in the future, you know?
Yeah.
And with that, we'll kind of get on to sort of our last bit of story, which is kind of piggybacking off our conversation with streaming services with DCEU, with what's going on with Ezra Miller, and that is how the Batman hasn't even been greenlit, the Batman 2, sorry, hasn't even been greenlit yet, and is years away. Now, this is interesting to me because I would have thought after the success of the Batman and how well that movie was perceived by critics and audiences alike, that the Batman 2 sort of would have been given. Like, it would have already, I kind of felt like it would have been like pre-greenlit. Like, they would have just been like, yep, you know, and I feel like them saying this, like, oh, the Batman isn't coming for years now and like whatever. I feel like they should kind of correct their course now that we're seeing all these issues with the DCEU popping up with the Flash and things like that. Like, if I was head of Warner Brothers / DC, what's going on there right now, I'd be like, we are in damage control. We need something to happen. And that means that we need the Batman 2 to be fast-tracked. And I feel like they could have done that if they kind of took note of how well the movie did straight up, and rather than putting all their money into these other projects like Aquaman 2, blah, blah, blah. If I was DC, I would have just been like, listen, we're on a winner here. Let's finish off these movies that we have to do and let's focus on like the Batman. Because if they had not had any movies come out in between the Batman and now, and then they were like, we've got the Batman 2 coming out in 2-3 more years, even though it's that far away, that's less hurtful to the brand and less cost, taking money out of the brand than what's going on with DC at the moment, which is putting all this money into projects that are just getting shelved and thrown away or getting ruined by Ezra Miller and things like that. So, I mean, what are your thoughts about how the Batman 2 isn't even close to coming out and Slash hasn't even been greenlit yet?
It's interesting. Yeah, I'm not sure what to think of that. And part of me says so as well. It's them trying to just put some sizzle on it. Is it going to come? Oh boy, it came. Like, something in the back of my mind's kind of saying it's also like drawing that publicity on it and go, oh, we are getting it. Yay. Yeah,
well, I'm reading it here. It says Robert Pattinson's Bat sequel isn't exactly a sure thing. This is from Ryan Leston at IGN. Although the Batman blew away the box office and was apparently confirmed to be getting a sequel, the Batman 2 still isn't a guarantee. According to Variety, the upcoming sequel to Robert Pattinson's first Batman movie hasn't even been greenlit by studio Warner Brothers Discovery. The Batman 2 is thought to be in development, with writer/director Matt Reeves, as well as star Robert Pattinson, both returning, but it's still years away from the box office, and Warner Brothers Discovery hasn't officially given it the go-ahead. This is despite WB confirming the film with an announcement back at CinemaCon. The Batman was a huge hit, at least by pandemic standards, when it debuted earlier this year, earning an impressive $700 million worldwide. A sequel is highly likely to be on the cards, despite recent troubles at the studio in the wake of Warner Brothers Discovery merger. Then it says, quite how it sits within DC's 10-year plan remains to be seen, but I can't help thinking that the Batman 2, along with upcoming Joker sequel, will be the ones that eventually dominate the landscape in terms of Warner Brothers Discovery superhero films. Which heroes will join them? That's a big question. And then it says, oh, that's basically all we've gotten at the moment. So, what are your hopes? What are your wants? What is your prediction for the Batman? What are you wanting from the Batman 2, and what do you think's going to happen in the Batman 2?
No Joker, and some delving into someone else from the Rogues Gallery, as we've said in other ones. Maybe even Robin again. I think Robin's had a big lack of screen time. In fact, hardly any. So, I mean, I'd like to see him in this world. And yeah, definitely a villain. Maybe someone Clayface, Man Bat, something a bit different. I think needs to be on the cards for this movie.
And after seeing it, though, do you think that those things are likely? Though, after seeing the Batman with me at the cinema, of course, do you think those like hopes that you got are likely, or do you think we're going to see a different direction? Do you think we're going to see the Riddler again? Do you think we will see the Joker? Like, I just feel like the Batman blew people away, and the Batman like did a really good job of the Riddler or whatever. But I don't know if you can follow it up as solidly as that. I mean, even the Dark Knight kind of had its moment where it like was dominating, and then the Dark Knight Rises came out, and everyone was like, "Whoa!" You know what I mean? So. Yeah. What do you think? Do you think that we're going to see something cool and creative and different with the Batman 2, or do you think that they're going to go back to the well of the Joker and things like that?
I think it would be a mistake if they did, and I think that would probably also lead to it taking a bit of that downward incline. Because I mean, you've already got the Joaquin Phoenix Joker. Like, there's already a presence there. Another Batman movie with the Joker. I don't get the point of that.
Why did they fucking not have like a plan ready to go for this movie? I just don't get it. Like, I mean, the Batman was in like production for a long time with Robert Pattinson, and it came out to rave reviews and things like that. I mean, I thought you would have been straight onto it. Like, surely Christopher Nolan was like straight onto the Dark Knight. Like, how long? It was 2 years until we got the Dark Knight. 3 years. So it was 2005 we got Batman Begins. Then we got The Dark Knight, and then we got Dark Knight Rises in 2013. So, yes, there are big gaps, but, like, I feel like the gap between Batman Begins and The Dark Knight is what we kind of should have expected between the Batman and the Batman 2. Is that what you felt as well? Not rather than a longer gap between?
I think so. I'm pretty surprised that they are doing that. It's strange.
Definitely. Well, I guess we'll see later on whether the Batman 2 comes to fruition and whether it lives up to the hype of the Batman 1. We will also...
When will it be a 3-hour Nirvana song again?
Oh, man, please, just... Fuck. That's my hopes for this movie, man, is not as long, not as depressing, and have a bit more fun in it. I mean, I want more moments of when the Penguin was getting chased by the Batman in the car and things. Those were good moments, you know, like all the fight scenes were fun, but like everything in between was so fucking emo, bro. You know what I mean? Like, fucking hell, bro. Put a bullet in my head. You know what I mean? Like, oh, God. I just wanted to go home and bang a keg to Saint Anger. With a baseball bat. Dunk, dunk, dunk. Well, that is basically all we really wanted to talk about. We were going to talk a little bit about, which, you know, I might actually bring it up just quickly, is we're coming up to Gotham Knights coming out as well. We're talking about a bit of DC Universe stuff. We got Gotham Knights coming out very soon. And what is your hype level for Gotham Knights, Alan? Because I don't know how much you like the previous Arkham games, and I don't know what your hype level is for a new one, let alone one that's kind of co-op-ish.
I'm interested. I've just I put it aside, but really need to finish it off. I was working my way through Arkham City, and with intention to go on to Arkham Knight. So I've been enjoying it, and I think having a co-op element would be quite fun. I like this idea.
I'm hoping for crossplay, so me and you
Yeah.
can fuck Gotham City shit up, you know. But look, they released the first 16 minutes of gameplay the other day, and I was on the fence about this game. Rocksteady made Arkham Asylum, Arkham City, and Arkham Knight, and WB made Arkham Origins. And this is the first game that WB have made since Arkham Origins, which was a long time ago. And they've been tasked with doing Gotham Knights while Rocksteady are doing the Suicide Squad Kills the Justice League game. And I had a lot of concerns for this game leading up to the gameplay footage release of the first 16 minutes, because I was like, they're showing us a lot of the city and a lot of action and fighting bad dudes and sneaking around and being in co-op mode with all your friends and stuff, but they have shown us very little plot / narrative / mission structure, you know what I mean? And I was getting concerned that we weren't going to get a true to form sort of Arkham game after all this time, when I've been fucking desperately hanging for an Arkham game. And after watching the first 16 minutes of the game footage, I can safely say I'm pretty comfortable with this game, and I'm pretty hopeful for this game. I'm actually looking forward to it quite heavily. So you enjoying Arkham City or not?
Yeah, I am. It's I actually think I played through a fair bit of it because it's very familiar. So I know I finished the first one. I finished Arkham Knight, and I know I played Arkham City, but I know I didn't finish it. But I came so damn close to finishing it. I think what I'm guessing about 3/4 of the way through, and now it's not familiar anymore. So yeah.
By the way, everyone, Arkham Origins, very underrated game. We should all make noise for that, so they make a remaster or they re-release that game, because it's stranded. It's another stranded game, just like GTA 4 is a stranded game. So, taking away all my fucking games and leaving them on old consoles, you fucking dogs. So, everyone, that was our stories for this week. We're going to wrap things up now. We hope you enjoyed what we discussed and what our thoughts are on this whole Ezra Miller kerfuffle, and we will see you next week. And by the way, if you haven't, please check out our Prey review, our Halloween 3 review, and make sure you check out our reviews next week of Predator 2. We just did Predator also, so check out our Predator review when that goes up. That isn't up yet, but it's going up. Then tune in next week to see our Halloween 4 ranked and reviewed episode, our Predator 2 review, and see where we rank those movies in the franchise compared to the previous installments so far. All right, let's get the fuck out of here, Alan.
Yes.
As always, I'm your host, Tommy West. And as always, joining is my co-host, Alanus Maximus. And if you haven't already, please subscribe, like, and share. And please leave a comment, because if you leave a comment, it makes us feel good, which makes you feel good. And that's the deal, isn't that right, Alanus?
That is the deal.
Happy, happy Halloween, 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 happy, happy Halloween, Silver Shamrock. Where the fuck am I Michael Myers at?
Oh, Dios mío, no!
Ay, ay, ay! Ay, Dios mío. Oh, ho, ho. Oh, we're fucking idiots. See you later.